Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon, and welcome everybody. Welcome back to Final Fantasy V, the solo character challenge run with our little black mage, Ferris. Last time we left off, we were just about to enter the Sky Fortress, where the soul cannon is. Apparently, I think I defeated Adamantimi, but I didn't yet deliver the Adamantite, so I should probably go ahead and do that. And yeah, another thing, I actually completely forgot last time, another big reason as to why you want to pick up the flame ring in the first place. A flame ring gives you the ability to cast fire on yourself and heal yourself. That is actually... oh, I've got the timer. That is actually a bit of a better healing than I could get through regular potions. Not as good as elixirs, but at least, well, it doesn't cost specifically elixirs, I guess. So yeah, reading a new novel, well, that sounds nice. I hope you have a good time with it. Welcome to you, Ionic Iris. And thank you for the good luck, I can use it. I think in all of Final Fantasy V, Mid and Zeta are kind of my favorite characters overall. They're just really hardworking. Generally speaking, my favorite type of cactus in games and stories are the ones that... they're not the chosen ones, if you will. But somehow they still manage to make a major impact by just sheer diligence and hard work, and that kind of describes these two really well. Alrighty, either way, we do get our cactus revived when we come from here, so let's go and put them back to sleep. And yeah, what's my weapon? Ice Rod? Sure, why not? Scythe, alright, I'm okay with this. You hit yourself. Oh, don't hit yourself, Various, that's silly. Alright, good, thank you. That's all we need to have here. Alrighty, upcoming we have a set of mini-bosses to deal with. And curious enough, I don't have to heal myself for them at all, because as long as you have the appropriate equipment, we're gonna be perfectly fine. So, I'm actually equipping the flame ring that we just bought last time for 50,000 gold. Which is going to heal me if I ever take fire damage, and also is going to completely negate ice-based damage. But more importantly, the knife that I equipped is the weakest weapon in the entire game. So, you might be wondering, why would you equip that? Well, the reasoning is actually kind of simple overall. Because these rocket enemies here, they have two attacks. They either use Rocket Punch, or they use Missile. Rocket Punch deals 50% of our current health in damage. Oh, right, it's a black mage. Either way, the knife, if Ferris ever attacks herself with the knife rather than anything else, she will deal 0 damage to herself because the knife has such little attack power, it will just knock her out of confusion. And because Rocket Punch always deals 50% of your current health and damage, well, as long as Ferris doesn't cast damaging spells on herself, well, aside from fire and ice, I suppose, she's gonna be surviving this largely. The other ability they can use is called Missile. Missile deals 75% of your current health and damage, and that is kind of largely fine as well. So these things have about 2,500 HP. So 2 single target bolts and 1 multi-target bolt should just knock them out. So the big danger here is obviously if Ferris somehow casts lightning on herself. Either bolt 1 or bolt 2. And that's kind of the one time where she can die. I actually didn't even think about that. But yeah, this is why we have the current weapon equipped. The obvious downside is that if we don't have a lightning rod equipped, we deal, well, we don't get the additional 50% damage from getting the elemental boost from our weapon. the other possibility of mini-bosses we can have here are flame guns. What do flame guns do? Well, they cast Blue Mage spell, cast emission, cold emission, and perfect. Because we have the flame ring on, it literally doesn't do anything against us. So we literally just get healed back up to full thanks to these guys, and in the meantime I'm just gonna cast Bolt, and here we go. And hey Mylokar, welcome, I hope you're doing well. Welcome as well, Nova Dragon, or Nova Dragoon actually, no Dragon. And yes, I actually haven't done the Black Mage until now. You haven't seen much of this playthrough, but solo Black Mage sounds rough. I dare to say it's probably not going to be easy, but it's going to be one of the easier ones that we have done so far. A Black Mage has very powerful offensive capabilities overall, so we should be largely fine with while dealing with most enemies as long as we can use our spells to our advantage. Which is going to be very true for the upcoming set of enemies here. I'm just going to save in between each encounter because it is very possible for us to just straight up die if we, well, get to low HP. Worth noting that the missile launchers actually literally cannot kill us. It is impossible for them to deal any damage once we get to 1 HP, because they always deal percentage-based damage, and you can't kill a character with percentage-based damage, it just doesn't work. Which is convenient. Yeah, I bet it's easier than Berserker. Well, yeah, among other things. Worth noting also, by the way, you might have noticed that the missile launchers were missing a lot. And that's not a pun. It's not actually because their abilities have a particularly low chance to hit, although to be fair, Rocket Punch doesn't have the highest accuracy. It's more that the equipment that Fairies is actually currently equipped with the Bard's Tunic and the Plumed Hat, they give her about a 22% chance of resisting spell chance attacks. And both Rocket Punch and Missile just have a chance to hit. So we actually only are going to get hit about by 50% of those attacks. How are you absorbing ice, by the way? The Flame Ring denies ice damage, like it just neutralizes it. It doesn't absorb it, but that's what the Flame Ring does. Yeah, equip the knife again, just in case it's the last one. I'm not gonna save yet. I might regret this. Nope, we are fine. Getting lucky with just getting the flame guns. Some solo characters actually don't have a good way of dealing with the rocket launchers at all, so your best option is in fact to just go ahead and grind out the flame ring and try to fight these things again and again until you get flame guns instead of anything else. You must have misheard. I could have misspoken, Mylokar. That is very possible. As I've already noticed, I'm not very words today. At least that one was intentional. But my words are kind of tumbling across each other. Alrighty, and that is the mini-boss is gone, without too much trouble, I would say. And now, this is the reason why I currently have 2 lightning rods rather than just 1, because this is going to be the actual boss of, well, the exterior of the fortress. What do we have to deal with here? So this is the... I'm actually going to keep the flame ring equipped, curiously enough, because I want to be able to heal myself via the abilities with fire. I do, however, want to go ahead and heal myself up to full MP. So I'm going to use 2 tens because each one is 100 MP. This is a tactical retreat. Yep, we advance backwards. So how costly is this run? Wouldn't imagine keeping MP at a decent level is cheap, not to mention the broken rods. Yeah, the thing is, for this challenge in particular, I tried to basically not rely on breaking rods too much. In this case, breaking rods is basically just alleviating the annoyance of having to worry about specifically just getting lucky enough to resist the missile attacks. So this is actually going to be literally the first time I'm going to break a rod on the boss. But, well, we'll get to that in just a second. So, this boss coming up is called Soul Cannon. Soul Cannon has a lot of HP compared to especially the previous bosses. This thing has 12,500 HP. And it is weak to lightning, as you might expect. However, the big problem of a Soul Cannon, especially for a lot of characters, including the Black Mage to an extent, is the launcher. So there's 3 targets. The Soul Cannon's main cannon and the 2 launchers on its back. The 2 launchers, what they do is they launch a attack that has a 99% baseline chance to hit, so effectively we have about a 22% chance to resist it thanks to our equipment. So the alternative strategy, instead of breaking the rod, would be just hoping that we resist the attacks so we don't get hit. Because if they hit us, they would put the aging status effect onto our character. And the big problem about getting the aging status is that you just kind of gradually lose all of your stats down to 1. You actually keep your level as a player character, but it doesn't matter, because eventually your magic attack multiplier is going to be 1. So you effectively don't deal much damage anymore at all. And especially since the main cannon has 12,000 HP, that would be no good. So the little launchers on the back have 800 HP each, and as it looks like we would need to cast about 3 or 4 spells total in order to get rid of the little launchers, if I didn't break the lightning rod. Now, the thing is, breaking the lightning rod, as I said, the main thing it does is either prevents me having to overlevel by a crazy amount, even more than I already did, let's put it that way, or the other part is it might just go and prevent the case where we just need to wait and hope that we resist the launcher's attacks, because the launchers on the back are actually, curiously enough, not weak to lightning. Otherwise this would not be a problem, we just need to resist 1 launcher attack from either one of those, or well, from both of them, and that would be that. Actually not just 1. Because we deal enough damage with Bolt in order to knock them out in just 1 bolt if they were weak to it. Either way, what I'm gonna do here is I'm going to cast fire on myself in order to heal. Thanks to the flame ring we can very easily do that. So yeah, that's kind of the reasoning as to why I break a rod specifically in this case. Then again, as I've mentioned before, being able to equip rods and subsequently break them is kind of part of a character's ability. There's not really anything wrong with breaking them. I'm just trying to see whether we can get by without as a minor additional challenge. And hey, I did not even need to heal. Yeah, the power of a glass cannon. Hey Blood, welcome. How are you doing today? But yeah, overall, if you need money as a black mage, you can just farm the wolves. So what we did is we farmed 50,000 gold at the wolves basically by just throwing fire at them over and over. And that's kind of all there is to it, honestly. Alright, we equip the elf cape again for physical evasion, as well as the guardian dagger for even more physical evasion. And then we go back into the ruins here. You're fine, that's nice. You hate Surge Beam. But he's a meanie. Yeah, Omega is pretty rude, I have to agree, especially since he literally casts Surge Beam every other turn, and in one of his turns he could just, well, use it 2 or even 3 times in a row. Well, in some turns anyways. Doesn't help that Omega's ridiculously fast. But yeah, I would say the cost for a Black Mage is rather moderate, especially considering that we have a very easy time just grinding out more money if we need it, well, at least for now, since we can just nuke groups of enemies very, very easily. There is certainly a bunch of other characters where we just had to slay wolves one by one by one by one because there was not really a better option, at least not one I could think of. So well, here we are. Welcome to the Lonka Ruins. The encounters in here are kind of interesting, but unless you have a character that just happens to be able to take advantage of the enemies down here, in terms of being able to just kill them efficiently, well, it's not the best place to just fight random battles, at least not efficiency-wise, so I'm just running away. The battles also can be mildly difficult to run away from, so that is worth noting. Search beam into search beam or search beam to maelstrom, and he is usually vast at the point where there's literally nothing you can do. Yeah, it's definitely very true in my experience too. Unless you specifically keep character on standby on the turns where you know it can come up for him to just maelstrom search beam, because you basically have constant HP leak in your characters anyways, and then just heal your party to full, you might just be dead. Or you hope that you just resist the stuff in the first place. Yet again, pretty interesting type of luck here, where we barely get into any encounters at all. Are you going for solo Omega and Shinryu with any characters? Yes, I've done those in the past. There's only 2 characters that have defeated Omega solo. One is the Time Mage with a very cheesy strategy called Quick Leak, which took long enough that I wanted to do that with a Time Mage on both Omega and Shinryu, but decided against it when I realized how long it took. Either way, the Chemist on the other hand, I did not even use the exploit for Kiss of Blessing on Omega. I just defeated him straight up. It took quite a few attempts until we managed to get a good try, but well, Chemist can just straight up do it. And then there was also... There's actually a number of solo characters who managed to take down Shinryu just all by themselves. I think most of them, actually all except for 2, however, we're only able to do this thanks to being able to Berserk Shinryu and have perfect evasion with a shield and being minute, like the Blue Mage. Chemist is such a strong class. Yes, indeed. 3 white wind users and display that isn't even that crapshoot if it works. Yeah, that's a decent way to go about it. How did Zola Berserker do against those both? Well, it died really quickly. That's kind of the short version. The curious thing is that the Zola Berserker does actually have enough HP to survive the initial wave, but there's not really anything else this Berserker can really do in that situation. Hey Jarian, welcome. How are you doing today? I give it a good luck. I think we did run into Omega once for fun with the solo Berserker on the way past, but yeah. Alrighty, we have 12 elixirs? That's a lot of elixirs. Okay, so this is going to be probably one of the biggest roadblocks of any boss that we're going to be encountering here. I'm actually very strongly considering just putting fairies into the front row from the beginning, but that might be even more sketchy. Alrighty, I'm actually gonna open up my thing so I can keep track of how much HP damage I deal. Welcome to Archeo Avis. Archeo Avis has 5 different forms. the first 4 forms each have 1600 HP. The first form is Wind, and each one of the forms has 1 spell attack. Usually it is 25% of your maximum HP, like Breathwing right here. 1 regular attack that's just physical damage. Actually, that's pretty much what we want to see for the most part. And 1 physical strike with status effects afflicted to it. Some status effects we just don't really care about. What did I equip? Ice Rod. Alright, let's use Ice here. Some status effects we don't really care about, others are kind of really bad. Okay, that's gonna be 2 ice, 2 spells until we defeat this thing. That is already half of our HP gone. So, physical evasion is going to be very important because the status effects are really, really devastating, especially the further we in we get. So now, Archeo-Avis actually just lost his first form. He died once. You don't see anything, there's no visual indicator for this to happen, but we basically are now in phase 2. And that's going to be true for the first 4 phases. The first 4 phases, they get more... I think actually the second phase is Ice, so I need to switch over to like Thunder. The first 4 phases, there's not much of an indicator for them to switch between. However, each subsequent form has more and more magic defense and less physical defense. So he starts out with a lot of physical defense and with very little magic defense. Alright, by the way, Wing is actually one of the definitely less bad attacks that we can get hit by. However, we still kind of need to heal up. I'm just gonna use an elixir here. We get poisoned, by the way, by the Wing attack, which is why Ferris is crouching like that. Blaze is 240 damage and also it does HP leak damage, so it's actually about the same as the other spells he can use. Alrighty. However, 1 more bolt and he is going to get knocked out here. Well, that's gonna be phase 3. Unfortunately, the damage does not carry over between the forms, so he has exactly 1600 HP again. So here is actually where I'm gonna equip the Dagger again for more physical evasion. And we're gonna use an antidote. Well, Guardian Dagger already worked. Because he will no longer poison me in subsequent forms, and getting rid of poison now is kind of important. Tail, I believe, is... blindness? So that's the thing. Also, let's see, the first form was Wind, second is Ice, third is... Fire, I think, so he should be able to use Lightning again. Let's see, he might just heal from this. Nope, 638. So Lightning is the way to go here. Whenever we equip the Rod in order to deal 50% more magic damage, of course we also lose the ability to, well, dodge as much. Yep, it is fire. Okay, we're going to heal up before we go into the next phase, because the next phase is going to be even more dangerous. Also, let's see, 671 damage. Actually, 638 was the lower roll that we just had earlier. If I deal 50% less damage, well actually, technically 33% less damage, so about 200... We should still be able to knock him down into his next phase, without even equipping the Lightning Rod here. Yes, okay. We are now in phase 4. This is the Lightning phase. And this is why I kept the Guardian Dagger equipped right there. So, we're gonna use fire for this phase. The only reason is just because he absorbs lightning. I could also use ice instead, doesn't matter. 605. Gonna be about 1200. And there's Claw. So here is one of the biggest problems. Claw inflicts stun. I'm getting paralyzed in a solo character challenge run. One of the worst case scenarios, because you also can't dodge any physical attacks anymore. Alright, and we need to heal up at least a little bit, so I'm using another high potion here. Maybe a bit greedy, maybe I should just use an elixir for full heal instead. Okay, another thunder. So it's gonna be about 1200 damage for this form. So the main problem is actually we have to prepare for the final form. And what I mean with this is I'm gonna move into the front row because the final form is immune against all elemental damage. Consequently, I have to use physical attacks. And the Guardian Dagger is the best weapon for that. There's not really any contest. But I also would like to get into the final phase with full HP. Does Elixir hope that we block the physical attack or he doesn't use a stun or something like that? Not great, but let's just go. Alrighty. This is going to be really tight. I think I actually have to use the... I don't think this is going to knock him into the next form. I'm just gonna try anyways, because I really want to start the last phase. Nope. With the Guardian Dagger equipped. Alright, we just heal again. So the last phase has basically the same concept, except that he also mixes in Maelstrom, which puts us into critical HP. He has an attack that confuses us, which is almost worse than anything else. Alright, we're good here to push him into the final phase though. The final phase has 2500 HP. So it's gonna be a lot of whacking, and we need to just hope that we don't get hit by the physical attacks. We have 50% chance to block physical attacks, so there's that. So yeah. Let's see how well this is going to go. This is why we kept the Elf Clay equipped. And there's a Maelstrom. Not really anything we can do about that, we just have to heal up. We have a good chance to resist Maelstrom, so there's that at least, I guess. But that's the confusion. Now we need to hope that either Arceo Avis uses a physical attack. Nope, we're dead. Or Ferris uses a physical attack and doesn't use spells. Alrighty, and... yeah, this is just going to be how it is going to go. This is kind of literally the worst case scenario, where he confuses you because, well, we didn't block the physical attack, and on top of that, Arceo Avis decides that, well, I'm just gonna cast Maelstrom right after that. So yeah. There's my spreadsheet. I want to real quick see whether gaining one level would actually improve our physical damage output. So we have 18 strength and 28 agility. There's not really anything we can do that to improve that, so we just have to either level up in order to deal more damage or not. 18 strength, 28 agility, thanks to the Elf Cape. And we are level 32, which is actually decently high already. Alright, our last attack multiplier we acquired at level 31. So we basically are just past the last attack multiplier. In order to get slightly more damage than what we have already, we would need to get to level 36. Yeah. Wait. Oh, I'm looking at magic. Oh, 32. Actually, it still holds true. 36 would be the level in order to gain more physical damage output as well as magic damage output. However, 32 is in fact exactly the level where we did just gain a little bit more physical damage as well. So, leveling up right now, unless we specifically go to level 36, is only going to give us a tiny bit more HP and a little bit of a higher chance of resisting Maelstrom. To give you a frame of reference, I believe Maelstrom has a 50% baseline of chance of success. However, Arceo is level 20, that means he's 12 levels lower than we are. I actually kind of want to confirm that, just kind of so I don't spew some nonsense. Maelstrom. Maelstrom? There we go. Oh, I think I'm wrong, actually. I thought Maelstrom had like a 50% baseline chance of success, but no. That is actually not accurate, so I was wrong. Huh. I thought wrong, apparently. What was I thinking of then? Oh well, no matter. Either way, Maelstrom actually has a 99% baseline chance of success. We're 12 levels higher than Archaevis, so 99 minus 12. Well, specifically the last form of Archaevis is to level 20, in case you're wondering. The others are like... other levels? I don't know. Level 20... Did I unequip the flame ring? I hope I did. So that is 87% chance of success baseline, multiplied by 0.78, if anybody wants to calculate that. Or divided by 5, actually, divided by 5 times 4. That is like 16 times 4, I don't know, it's like 70% chance, so we basically have like 1 in 4 chance to resist it, I guess? I don't know. Close enough. Alrighty, Bolt 2, let's go. We can use Bolt until the 4th phase, so... Ooh, we actually might not knock him out in this one. We need 808 damage to put him to the next phase here. Nope, we didn't get it. Unlucky. We're still going to optimize our equipment, so... going to go ahead and equip the Guardian Dagger. His physical ability, or what status he inflicts is HP leak, which means the longer I actually spend in the menu, the more damage I take effectively because of how it works in conjunction with the timer. It's a bit awkward, but it's alright. It does teeter off after a while, that HP leak, so we're gonna be fine. There's the poison. And we're switching over to the Thunder Rod. If I'm not mistaken, I need to use... yeah, I needed to use a 3rd spell anyway, so I just figured I might as well keep the Guardian Dagger briefly equipped. Alright, we are now in phase 3 out of 5. You can also see that by the indication of the A to B, the bottom right, where Ferris is. That is actually very slightly... That's my antidote, there it is. It basically takes a short break until it actually starts moving again. Normally after I move, you can see it like right now, if I use a high potion, it immediately starts recharging. Right there. As soon as Ferris goes back into her place on the battlefield. However, if an enemy is specifically going to be like doing some hidden things and moving into the next form, that is when... I'm getting unlucky here. Please use physical attacks, but don't poison me and stuff. Oh well. Either way, that ATB basically briefly stays full, and then it starts recharging. That's approximately how long it takes to. Thank you. Appreciate that. Alright. I think that's gonna push him into phase 4, if I'm not mistaken. Actually, it didn't take that much damage. Nope. That was only the first spell in phase 3. Tail, and we are blinded. Which actually is a problem in him, now that I think about it. As a matter of fact, I want to remove the blindness before we move into phase 4. Good job dodging. Alright, now we are in phase 4. This is where the paralyzing attacks start. Hey Ben Block, welcome. How are you doing today? Going to equip the Guardian Dagger first. Because that way gives us a better chance to resist. Also start using Ice or Fire. Nice. 308. Yeah, we need 2 of these, don't we? And the Thunder, we probably need to heal here. We don't need to, but if he paralyzes us, he gets 2 attacks in conjunction or in sequence. So he could just Thunder and be dead. Going to attempt the Heartseeker Mana challenge in a moment. Well then, best of luck to you. So 572. And there's the paralyzation. Yes, last phase is immune to elemental damage, not spells in particular. You can still use spell-like things, like Aqua Rake is actually completely without element, so Aqua Rake, as a matter of fact, does still work. 605. We are 115 damage away from getting him into the final phase here. Please dodge, whatever it might be. And Guardian Dagger, we're gonna heal up to full here. And yes, non-elemental magic attack would deal damage, like Flare would deal damage, for example. It's just, I don't think we have anything like that. We have status effects, but that's about it. Cool. Yeah, we just need to move into the front row before we change into the next phase. Good block Ferris. And this should knock him into the final phase here. Let's see whether we get any damage in at all this time. That would be nice. Not vanilla. Right, fair enough. Mostly about blue magic? Yeah. Like Goblin Punch and stuff works. Or Vampire or question mark attack, and we're confused already. Please hit me again with a physical. And I'm paralyzed. So the worst part is here, if he hits me with a physical attack, I actually don't get unparalyzed. Normally this would unparalyze me, unconfuse me. I'm probably dead here. Fairies put herself to sleep. Well, I suppose that's a fair reaction. I should have stayed in bed. Sleep! I actually wonder if you induce magical sleep onto yourself, does that have any adverse effects if you just use it in order to fall asleep at the appropriate time for keeping a proper schedule? Numbing the Pain. Yeah. Basically, this is the biggest problem about a Black Mage. If they are confused instead of attacking themselves physically, Black Mages will often just cast spells instead. I don't know what the probability is of them using spells instead, but it feels like it's a 50-50. I don't actually know though. Wonder whether that's written in the algorithm's guide. Either way, no matter what level we would be, this would always be a problem with Arcuavius confusing us, because that confusion, as long as he hits his physical attack, we will be confused. And there's not really anything we can do about that. The only thing leveling would help with is dealing more physical damage. It would be dealing more physical damage, so the phases would not last as long, but right now we literally haven't even survived long enough to deal a single attack of damage. Hey Multicycler, welcome. Hope you're doing well. It's a no %. And how's Final Fantasy V treating me so far? Well, initially it was really nice, no complaints. And now, the game is just trying to be mean. Oh, that's not good. Because this is going to knock me out if he uses Blaze again. Wow, okay, holy cow. Arcuavius was out for blood this time. He wasn't even playing around with physical attacks. That was 4 times in a row a spell. 1 in 3 chance each time. So by the way, if you're on the Super Famicom version of the game, which I am right now, in this specific area here, if you want to grind on a character that doesn't really have any other good grinding spot, what you can do is you can hope to encounter the dark blue, teal, cyan Hydra enemies. I forget whether those are the Hydras or the Hyudoras. Either way, the single Hydras. Not these ones basically, the Hydras it is. And you can throw Phoenix Downs at them. They are worth quite a bit of experience, and they actually drop a Phoenix Down if you kill them, so you have a 75% chance of instantly killing them, which is pretty neat, I would say. The main downside is, if you in fact kill the Hydras, they will counterattack with level 4 Gravity, which reduces your HP by 3/4. And, well, reducing your own HP by 3/4, if your level is divisible by 4, which by the way it is, at level 32, every time you defeat one of them is kind of less than ideal. I'm going to wait until Archaeavis attacks before I move. By the way, one fun thing to note, enemies and bosses, whenever combat starts, they have a set amount of speed. I actually don't know Archaeavis speed, but they have a set amount of speed. What that means is that every time we start a battle, they can have either +1 to their speed or -1 to their speed. I don't know what it is. Well, I can sometimes tell if like the speed is very close to my characters, and sometimes I might go first in, I guess, certain forms, and sometimes I go second, etc. But yeah, it actually is never exactly their speed value that they have in their bio, you could say. I don't know whether what to call it that. But in the algorithms guide, there's a speed value listed. However, it's never going to be exactly that value specifically. Nice block, Ferris. So this is the blinding attack. So we do survive one attack no matter what. On 38. And there's a flame, and I want to heal, of course. Never knew speed worked that way in Final Fantasy 5, yeah. So basically, there's just always a little bit of variance in how fast the enemies are compared to your character. And because they just kind of changed their base speed value, over the course of multiple turns, it actually can compound to be relatively extreme in specific scenarios. Where, let's say you have a strategy, but it relies on you being able to go first on your 6th turn, and it's almost a speed tie at the time. Well, on your 6th turn, if it is +1 or -1 speed for the enemy, it might just make the difference in that case. Okay, we're gonna just push him into phase 4 here. Paralysis is dodging pretty well. Also, he's not using his mean attacks, so I'll use fire this time. Not really any reason to use fire or ice, aside from the animation speed. One more spell of that nature would knock him out, but kinda like before, I do want to be prepared in order to start phase 4 in the front, so I actually would deal more physical damage. You might think, but you have died to physical damage before, do you really want to be in the front? And the answer to that is yes, because I need to be able to deal damage to this thing as quick as I can. Because the longer the combat goes on, the higher the chance is that I just get knocked out by a random ball sequence of moves by Archaeavis. To be fair, particularly the beginning is really bad. The first 3 turns, or 4 even. But yeah. By the way, we could just use a physical attack to push him into the final phase, because we only need to deal 27 damage here, and we would deal that much damage with the Dagger. But he has evasion, so we even have a chance to miss on top of everything else. Even though Daggers reduce the chance to miss, or about the evasion of enemies by half, there's still a chance to miss. Alright, let's see whether we get luckier this time. I don't think we have blocked a single confusion attack so far. And he keeps using the confusion attack too, that's just rude. But hey, we get to attack. 231 damage, oh dear. We need to deal 2500. That's actually a lot less damage than I hoped it would be. We resisted Maelstrom, nice, we got lucky. 145. Do I want to heal here? I think dealing damage is more important. I just hope we resisted the claw? No, we heal. We need to basically deal as much damage as possible, I think. So, taking small risks to try and deal more damage is important. Hit, please, with a physical. No, that's literally a worst case scenario. Alright. Block a physical, otherwise we're dead, I think. Nice, good job, Varys. I did block a physical. You can't block physical attacks, by the way, while you are confused. The enemy will always hit. Ooh, nice, good job, Varys. Dodge that confusion. 1106 damage so far. We're not even halfway through. In fact, if we hit this, we are now halfway through. Oh dear. Confusion. And no longer confusion, but in death range. Well, his Maelstrom missed, which doesn't matter because I'm gonna heal anyways. Tangled resisted, that's good. That's a paralyzation. Just a straight up paralyzation, no damage attached, but resisting that is really important too. Blaze, 240 damage plus HP leak, we just hold down the button to attack. 17. Nice, resisted. Entangle again. 3 more attacks and we would win. Do we heal or do we attack? As mentioned before, attacking is not really, or healing is not really any safer. It's kind of the main problem here. Healing might just means that it might potentially take one more turn. But I feel like I need to heal at least once more anyway, so I'm gonna heal anyways here. Good block, Varys. Flame, okay, we get one more attack here. One more attack after this one, and we would win. We are at 2,429 damage. As long as we don't miss, we should win here. Wow, alright. Considering how unlucky we got in the previous attempt, where we didn't even get a single physical attack off, to just go all the way this time, I feel like I got really lucky. Because I have to admit, when I saw how little damage Varys was doing with the Dagger there, I thought, I'm probably just gonna go outside in power level for a while. Turns out that was not necessary. Wow. We're gonna heal up before we move, because there are enemy encounters in this area. Guardian Dagger, Elf Cape, good. We have the maximum chance of survival. Whew. Okay. Welcome to you, Scarga. I hope you're doing well. Sometimes you just need a lot of luck. Yeah, I feel like that was one of these times. To be fair, as I said, it's mainly the first few turns where he can confusion attack. And then the algorithms guide actually does not exactly know how the AI script of Archeo Avis works. At least it didn't last time I checked. Let me just see. Maybe I just didn't understand it. Archeo Avis revived. Undead. No, actually it has just a straight up AI script. And I'm wrong too. So, it turns out Archeo Avis has actually a 1 in 3 chance every single turn to do the confusion attack. So we just got luckier that we didn't get hit with it all the time. The AI script does not look like fun. yeah, I guess we got out of there. As I said, when I saw how much damage or how little damage we dealt, I would have probably decided I'm gonna go outside and gain a few levels, so at least we have a better chance to resist attacks and have more maximum HP. Huh. Mana has Cannon Travel, Final Fantasy V has Meteor Travel. You're not sure which one is more reckless. Well, I think Cannon Travel is a rather well-established form of transportation in the world of Mana. Meteors are more of an oddity. I would guess that Cannon Travel, considering how well-established of a mode of transport it is, and how normal it appears to be, it is reasonably safe for the most part. Unless you land in the middle of the desert by accident. Cannon Travel is canon. It is indeed. Also, let me check something real quick. Also, apparently Arceus' final form does not have any evasion. It is the fourth form. Actually, all the previous form have 10% evasion. The final one does not actually have evasion. I didn't even know that. Isn't Cannon Travel a new thing in Trials? It is actually in Trials, which presumably sets it to play. If it is the same world anyways, it sets it to play before Secret of Mana. Yes. In your head, headcanon, or in your headcanon, for the first 3 mana games, Timeless Trials first, and Secret and Mystic Quest. Mystic Quest? Oh, right. Game Boy... the Game Boy one is called Mystic Quest in Europe. But... yeah, I can see that. That works. To me personally, I don't really care about a timeline, but that's me. It's fun to think about, to be fair. I wonder whether Legend of Mana... well, actually, I guess Legend of Mana is a spin-off, officially anyways. Where does Dawn of Mana fit in? I still need to play that game. I should have plugged it onto the Yaga Monthly straw poll. Dawn of Mana, that is. Speaking of Yaga Monthly straw poll, anybody who would like to vote on what you would like to see me play for 12 to 16 hours this coming... well, yeah, this coming Saturday, here's a straw poll for you. And on some of the games, like Mother 3, Albion and Planescape Torment, I would just continue playing them sometime after we are done, so to speak. Or well, we're done with the Yaga Monthly. Also exclamation mark Yaga Monthly if you'd like to know what that is about. Did I ever go into the castle here to pick up the items? Not sure. Also, I just realized we can have solo Black Mage Galov deal with Gilgamesh, probably. Actually, he would need to break 2 rods. So we need to get quite lucky. Assume... how quick is Gilgamesh? Oh. Gilgamesh number 1. Gilgamesh in the X zone? No, that's the wrong one. Hello. Yep, actually, we didn't go back here. So there's actually 2 elixirs and 1 high potion here, so I mainly come back here for the elixirs. The high potions we actually don't really need anymore, I don't think, anyways. On OT? Which one is OT? PT? I'm not sure what you're referring to, Vylokar. Oh, probably Planescape Torment. I've never played it before. I know it's a very fascinating world. I'm not entirely blind on it. I'm just mostly blind on it. Basically, I know enough about it that I'm very intrigued by the world and the world building. If that makes sense. Gilgamesh in the dungeon has a speed of 25. Galaf has actually +0. Which means Galaf is gonna be... well, he has +1 from them. It's gonna be a speed tie, actually. It's awesome. Nice. Yeah. I know that it's a very fascinating world to just kind of dive into. And I kind of wanted to do that since a while, so I offered it for one of the Yaga Monthly stickers kickstarted, so to speak. What class? No, actually, I don't know that much. What class and alignment am I going for? I mean, I just tend to play Goody Two Shoes character in RPGs that allow me to do so. Then again, sometimes I also like to play Goody Two Shoes that just happens to be a kleptomaniac. Which, to be fair, is kind of normal for RPGs for the most part. You're more surprised in how many votes Albion got. I'm 2. I don't mind, I'm not complaining, but... I didn't expect Albion to get that many votes. I did actually inform myself pretty well about Albion. At this point, in terms of mechanics, I've played a little bit more, but it's going to be still a while until I get used to the game itself again. Or again, at all. But yeah, Somebody can be anything from a goody two-shoes to a psychopath. It all makes sense. It does indeed. Because, to my knowledge, that's pretty much the entire storyline by itself overall. I don't need any of the unique weapons, and I don't think we really need money in the Black Mage, so I'm gonna skip out of the cutscene on the other side. To avoid spoilers, that's fair. So the main amount of knowledge I have about Planescape Torment is I watched somebody who used to make Let's Plays on YouTube. Actually don't know whether he still does or not. Funk Royale, who is a German Let's Player and Twitch streamer, etc. And I found his initial playthrough and his enthusiasm and passion for Planescape Torment very, very captivating. So I really liked watching the series, and unfortunately kind of didn't continue that at some point. But ever since I watched that, basically, it kind of left me just wanting to know more about the world, and it's been in the back of my mind since, effectively. That game was way ahead of its time, I believe it. But yeah, I basically know stuff about the early game, but I don't really know stuff, if that makes sense. Then again, is there really a way how you can know stuff truly in that game? You're in for a treat if you want to dig into the lore. He did play that. You mean Funk Royale? It is one of the very early ones, I think. Well, I say very early ones, but it's just been a long time. Yeah, he did play that at some point. So you might just scroll very far back in his YouTube channel and eventually find it. By reading in-game material and stuff. I see. I'm actually very hesitant about trying to dig into the lore, just kind of without guidance, to an extent. Actually, let me put it the other way around. If you have guidance for what to check out at times, like just kind of send me in a direction to explore, I would appreciate that, because it is very intimidating to me to, well, try and just jump head first into a world that is very foreign, and there probably hasn't been much like that since. I would guess anyways. Alrighty, before we do anything else, we need to put our other buddies to sleep here. This is fun. It's part of the charm to jump in blind, right, but also intimidating. Because part of it, why it's intimidating to me, honestly, is because of how much I anticipate how much time it is going to take in order to really get to understand the world and understand things. That poor elephant is probably really confused at what's happening. They just knock themselves out. There's easy ways to go to sleep. It's just running away from our group. That's a fair choice. Alrighty, so now that we have defeated Archaeavis, we basically need to defeat 3 bosses at the 3 meteors. This is Ouroboros. Oh, I actually don't know whether all of them managed to be put to sleep. I'm gonna just cast sleep 2 more times, just to hope that all of them are asleep. I think bottom right might not be asleep yet. I'm not sure yet. But either way, so they can be put to sleep, and kind of as we learned before, if an enemy is asleep... Alright, the bottom right is not asleep yet, I was correct. But that appears to be the only one. Alrighty, how these guys work is, the first 2 turns the Puroboros don't do anything. And then subsequently, in their, well, subsequent turn, what they do is they have a 1 in 3 chance to explode, and a 2 in 3 chance to just do a physical attack. If an enemy uses explosion on another enemy, they deal their currently remaining health in damage to the target. These things have 1500 HP each, and I would not survive them exploding. So I actually got lucky that the bottom right one decided to do a physical attack 2 out of 3, rather than the explosion 1 out of 3 times. And, well, in Final Fantasy V, if an enemy or a cactus is asleep, they will never wake up unless you specifically hit them with a physical attack. And of course I'm not gonna do that anymore, because why would I? So, poison deals 1/16 of an enemy's HP in damage. So, you have 1500 HP divided by 16. Apparently that is 93, probably a slight rounding error, so I think it's going to deal or take 17 ticks until they die. So there's 2 reasons. One, why I'm actually using poison rather than anything else. 1, it's more fun. And 2, if you defeat these Puroboros, while they can still act, so to speak, like if you don't put them to sleep or if you just deal straight up area of effect damage, if one of them dies, it will cast life 2 on all its allies that have fallen, which means all its allies will be revived with full health, if any of them have fallen. However, they don't do that if they go down by a poison tick or explosion, or if they are paralyzed or muted, they can't do these things. In this case, well, it is mostly... there's not much of a point in me putting them to sleep and poisoning them. I could just put them to sleep and then use area of effect attacks instead. But there's not a whole lot of enemies and bosses where poison is really particularly efficient, and I just think this is more interesting. You can also wake someone with a recovery magic. I suppose that's true. You can use Asuna in order to recover somebody. And they start going down. Time to be a warlock, indeed. But yeah. Alternatively, I could have just used area of effect attacks in order to deal rather massive damage to all of them. But this is just a lot safer. Well, putting them to sleep first is a lot safer. Okay. It should be as blind as possible when it comes to Torment. Yeah, it makes sense, Vilokar. I definitely understand why. But that's kind of where I personally, as a player and gamer, it doesn't quite work for me that way most of the time. The reason is, I need an initial hook. I need a strong reason to play a game. And when I don't know the game at all, there's not much of an incentive for me to jump in. Sure, it looks nice and interesting. Like, Hades looks amazing in terms of visual aesthetics, and makes me interested in it just because of that, or like Sunless Skies, like recently as well. But at the same time, if I don't have that initial hook to draw me into the world and want to know more of the game, it is very difficult for me to just start jumping into a new game that I just don't know anything about. Alrighty, welcome to Meteor Miniboss number 2. This is Titan. He has 2500 HP, and I actually don't remember whether he has any status weaknesses that we could exploit. Hang on. Where's my list? Titan. Nope. None of the status effects that he could be inflicted by we have access to. He is slower than we are, so might as well just equip something. He doesn't have any particular elemental weakness or anything like that. The thing worth noting about Titan is that when you defeat Titan, he's going to counterattack with Earthshaker. Earthshaker deals, I think, like 400 damage to your entire party. Normally that is actually kind of a big deal in casual play, but if you just play a single character recently highly leveled up, it's not that big of an issue most of the time. It still is a lot of damage for a character that does not have that much, well, maximum health, or just not particularly much maximum health growth, so to speak. To make it more fun, it's mostly, actually, no, not in this case, Veilokar. What I'm saying is, I already know stuff about the game now, so that's kind of why I'm interested in playing. Earthshaker. Goodbye. Not in this case, so as I said, I already know now stuff about Planescape Torment. But if you want me to play other games, that's kind of what would have to happen. As I said, if I did not know how intriguing and fascinating the world is in Planescape Torment, I would be hard-pressed to just jump into it. It's actually kind of an interesting dilemma I have with Arcanum of Magic Obscura, or Machines and Magic Obscura, because I know there is an entire world that is also very fascinating to explore, but I don't have that initial hook, so to speak. I haven't watched anybody play it and get the hang of the gameplay, just kind of the basics. So it's a bit of a bigger hurdle. Yes. I know the world is fascinating, but that's kind of what I'm... Yeah. Just checking whether I have status recovery items. I do. So before I move on, I'm going to go ahead and buy 2 rods. Doesn't matter which ones, let's just make it thunder, I guess. Those are gonna be for Galef to deal with Gilgamesh. I don't know whether that's going to work. Like, it... Let's see, if we get lucky with the speed of Gilgamesh, we're gonna get... We need to have... It's a 1 in 3 chance that we would defeat him. Not terrible, I guess. I guess it's less than that, though. That's fine, Veilokar, don't worry. Okay, next up, our next boss here, the third one of the Meteor trio that I'm tackling here, is Chimera Brain. Chimera Brain's actually susceptible to instant death, but, well, we don't have anything to cast instant death with yet. That is not a spell we learn until later. But it could be poisoned, and it can be petrified. Petrification, once again, not actually a spell we have access to yet. We do have later. So, in theory, the one status effect we can inflict to Chimera Brain is poison. Now, I love poisoning enemies, but just due to its nature, it is going to be a very slow, well, trickle of damage that goes in if I just use poison here. So, it doesn't have any particular elemental weakness, aside from actually absorbing water damage, which is weird. Because you can't... No, actually, I guess you can't do water damage. Oh, wait, no, I'm wrong. Ice! Ice it was! Oh no. It absorbs ice damage, not water. I look at the wrong line, okay? Either way, what I should have done is I should have equipped the Flame Ring, because it would negate the blaze damage entirely. This thing has 3300 HP, by the way. So that's 1200. I need 6 spells. But yeah, that's a pretty significant mistake I just made there, not equipping the flame ring against this guy. I might be dead here. Oh, still alive. I really don't want to use an elixir. Petrified? Maybe. I was afraid I was petrified. Actually, I don't think I've ever been petrified. Hey Butcheroni. No, actually the Beastmaster is complete. I'm not taking a break from it. We have beaten the final boss of it. I actually still need to highlight it, to be fair. So I should get around to that. 2 more spells and we win. Okay, I think we're fine. I think Chimera Brain... Yeah, Chimera Brain is a little bit faster than we are. So consequently it would eventually get a double turn on us. But it's not that much faster, so the double turn actually would have taken like 2 more turns or 3. Until it arrived, but we defeated it beforehand. Uh-oh. Alrighty. Potions. Heal up. And I hope I'm not forgetting anything. I might forget stuff. Probably not. Going to empty Ferris equipment inventory, so Galef has everything available as necessary or desirable. And we're off to World 2. Will it be an option following Jager Monthlies? It always depends on how I feel for the types of games to play. Like, let's say if I play another game that is just very story intense and very involved, like I would guess Albion would be, for example. Which, by the way, people can still vote. Nothing is decided yet. Use a straw poll in case anybody's curious for this next Jager Monthly. As I said, it always depends. It's always kind of going... I can never really promise that I'm going to play or offer this next month, because if it's... I need some kind of a break and just have something that is just done after one day, like the Mega Man series, for example. Or like a shorter game for that matter. That doesn't require as much thinking and reading and such, then that's just going to be not necessarily an option. In the future, yes. I will play it eventually. I just can't promise whether this is gonna be like next month, or whether it might be in like 3 years or so. We'll see. In Barbatos. I like your name. Thank you for the raid and the host. I appreciate that. And welcome everybody. I hope you're doing well. The game is real good. I believe it. Alright. I'm gonna help you with this abduction mission, good sir. If you win this fight, you get an ether. But you don't have to win it. Oh, I actually realized I did forget something. I should have bought the Mage Master. I did save, okay, hang on. Right, sorry about that. I'm going to reset real quick. Because there's a chance that I will want to use the Mage Master here. Oh, why did he do that? Eh? Yeah, that doesn't look right at all. I just reset the capture card because it usually lags behind in sound when I reset. But yeah. Rip indeed. So, the reason why I want the Mage Master is the Mage Master Dagger has a 1 in 4 chance to mute an enemy whenever I attack. And that is kind of a potentially rather crucial ability to have on the next actual boss fight. Also, hey, there's a lot of white mage spells. No black magic though. Alright, Mage Master acquired, that's all I wanted. We'll only lose a little bit of time, all things considered. Nothing particularly bad. Alright. This is why I saved before moving into World 3. So basically, there's gonna be a rather difficult fight coming up, and if I get the opportunity to effectively silence more or less the enemy halving its damage and starting to go 3 times as fast as my character, that is kind of valuable, let's put it that way. I figured I might as well sort my inventory sometime. Bum, bum, bum. Actually, sorting my inventory is annoying because now all my weapons are gonna be at the bottom. Oh well. Alrighty, welcome back, Galuf. So, let's see. Galuf gets all the equipment. It's also a very convenient way to explain how he how he still has everything. Story-wise as well. Alright, I'm gonna turn Galuf into a Black Mage, so this is one of the... Oh no, I didn't on it. Haha! I literally can't do that. I forgot to unequip Fairies. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to give Galuf the Guardian Dagger and the Elf Cape, which gives him a total 50% chance of blocking stuff. His agility is the exact same speed as Gilgamesh would be, so it would be a 50-50 whether Galuf goes first or whether Gilgamesh goes first. The idea would have been that Galuf then just breaks the two Thunder Rods. One would deal about 1000 damage and then the other one would knock out Gilgamesh. So effectively, in conjunction with the Elf Cape, I would have a 1 in 3 chance to survive Gilgamesh's attack, because he always only attacks physically. But without the Elf Cape, I literally don't have the means to survive that. Because Galuf does not have enough HP to survive even a single attack. And he can't really deal any damage outside of breaking rods either, because he does not have enough MP to cast spells. So yeah, unless Gilgamesh happens to be weak to or vulnerable to certain elements, which I don't think he is. No, we have no element. Okay, so we just go the traditional route of giving Galuf just a samurai job and Gil Toss. This area is more of an optional challenge that I tend to do once in a while, but I forgot. I remembered the first time I went into World 2 to unequip Fairies, but the second time I forgot. Oh well, that's okay. It's literally just, well, we try until we get it. 1 in 3 chance every time to survive. That's not true. 1 in 3 chance if we get the 50-50 that we are faster than Gilgamesh. Otherwise it would be a 2 times 1 in 3 chance to dodge the attack. Actually, that's also not entirely true. It would be a 50% chance to block the attack with Guardian Dagger plus Elf Cape, which is why I would enter the fight with both equipped. And then subsequently a 1 in 3 chance to dodge. So effectively a 15% chance to survive. That's not true, 16.6 and stuff. I was slightly slow with the menu. In case you're wondering, yes, that does count as a death. Either way, Samurai has a very easy way to deal with Gilgamesh, because he has 0 physical defense, and Giltos deals 1500 plus your level times 50 damage to the enemy. I think? Either way, it's... actually, that's not right. I don't remember. Either way, it's more than enough to knock out Gilgamesh in 1 Guild Toss. We just need to be able to get our first Guild Toss off, which shouldn't be too terribly difficult. Run invalid, maybe. Matt the Geek, thank you for the host, I appreciate that. And welcome everybody, I hope you're doing well. This is not a solo Black Mage run. Well, it is. It's just this boss here doesn't count. Because... why would it? some solo classes actually legitimately don't have a proper way to, like, level 1 Galuf this guy. So the alternative would be just giving Galuf, like, 10 levels, like just give him 1 Black Flame encounter. And level him up just a little bit. Oops, I don't mean to do that. And he would be able to survive this just fine. But, well... I'd rather not do that. If you did much just confused. Yeah, this is the encounter where Galuf frees the other 2 characters from, or 3 characters from the prison. So it's basically completely inconsequential. One of those fights that you're not supposed to lose, and it's not supposed to be difficult. So I'm just getting by any means necessary, kind of like Outline later. This jailbear must be so confused. Maybe not. He attacked anyways. Yeah, you can't do the entire game with a level 1 samurai, because once enemies start getting physical defense, you don't deal damage. So, I always like to point out that this is basically Butts' Dead Sprite, or Dead Overworld Sprite. So, what you can do is you can actually put a different character into the front, and, well, Ferris does her best Sonic impression, just kind of rolls around with her amazing hair. Or Lena does her best Luigi impression from Smash Bros. Left B! Whee! No misfires, thankfully. For Galuf, he is just doing the crab crawl all the way across. That's it, I just wanted to point that out. Alrighty, welcome to World 2, where we're not out of the woods yet, so we can't buy new equipment quite yet. It's going to take just a little bit until we get there. But until then, welcome to some of the best music in the game. Battle on the Big Bridge. The Battle of the Big Bridge is what the music is called. Either way, on the bridge here, depending on which tile you step on, you get encounters. They're not entirely random, but you could refight them if you want to. These things here are weak to lightning, have only about 500 HP, so they are just straight up dead. They also have a 1 in 16 chance each to drop us a high potion. So the way I'm walking is basically just me completely avoiding any random encounters, or, well, encounters on the bridge. Alrighty, and welcome to Gilgamesh on the bridge. This is actually going to be a real encounter, and it's also going to be real difficult. He is a fair bit faster than we are, which actually makes this rather challenging, let's put it that way. So give me just a moment to rearrange my inventory. I should have done this before, but that's fine. I also should have, oh well, I should have equipped the flame ring to heal myself with. Too late. Alrighty, in the first phase, Gilgamesh is not that big of a deal. He has 6,500 HP total. But once he drops below, what was it, 3,000 HP? He, by the way, is immune against any status effect we can throw at him. Once he drops below 2,500 HP, as in after we deal 4,000 damage, he switches into phase 2. Where he gives himself shell, armor, and haste. Haste means he's going to go about 3 times as fast as my cat does, and he gets 3 turns, I get 1. It's kind of extreme. Haste is the most broken status effect in the entire game for buffs. Vice versa, the other way around, slow I suppose. Also, armor means all the physical damage he takes is halved, and all the magic damage he takes is halved. So it is some rather ridiculously severe status effects overall. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna heal up real quick. Do I have any high potions left? I do have 2. So we're at about 3,000 damage done so far. I want to push him as close as possible to 4,000 damage done without actually dealing 4,000 damage. One more spell exactly like that is going to actually do this perfectly for us. I'm gonna heal up before we go. Because the idea is, I want to push him over to the next phase by attacking with the Guardian Dagger. Excuse me, not the Guardian Dagger, with the... 140. With the Mage Master Dagger. Because the Mage Master Dagger allows me to silence him as I attack with a 1 in 4 chance. And the reason why that's kind of a big deal... This might not be enough damage, we'll see. The reason why this is kind of a big deal is because that way he would not be able to haste, armor and shell himself. So we actually still deal the same damage and we don't go 1 time per hit, 3 times. So let's see. 57. Okay, that did not push him to phase 2. We actually didn't quite deal enough damage. Also, we didn't trigger the thing anyways. I kind of want to heal before going to phase 2, regardless of what else I do. But we should be fine. Maybe. It's actually a good chance we would die. Oh wow, I got lucky, holy cow. We managed to silence him on the turn where he did. But we're not out of the woods yet. He's going to do a jump as his action here too, and then he gets another attack before I get my next one. He could kill me here with another jump right after. Because it deals about 400 damage. Ooh. Okay, I think we're fine. For now. So his jump deals full damage to the back row, so it's kind of a big deal if we get hit by it every time, because he's still a fair bit faster than we are. I'm going to wait for his next action and then probably heal right after. Unless he does that. I survive a jump and then I go after him again. So he gets 1 action here. He has about slightly less than 2000 HP left. I heal here, we survive 1 jump, and then we have to heal. So this is literally best case scenario. I managed to push him into phase 2 while silencing as well. Fun fact, this does not work in any other version of the game, to my knowledge. Because he will automatically just unsilence himself in the, for example, the GBA version. I actually don't know, it might work in the PlayStation version, but I don't really know. 116. We survive another jump. Probably. Do I have another high potion though? I'm just gonna play this safe here. I'm gonna wait for his next move. And then wait. Yeah, I'm just gonna heal here. Oh ho! That was a higher roll than before. We had 7 HP remaining. Okay, I'm gonna survive 1 jump guaranteed here. This amount of HP. And 2 more spell casts are gonna be his demise. So, I didn't play this as clean as I could have. But we win. There's nothing you can do about that now. Hello, welcome to Quadlight. No, I didn't change any microphone settings recently at all. I didn't move the microphone around, to be fair, but it should not be clipping. Does anybody hear clipping on the microphone? Because if there is, I have to kind of investigate and figure out as to why that happens. You also notice it. Studio monitors. Okay, you haven't heard any clipping. If you have a clip of it, Quadlight, or the clipping, that would actually be quite helpful, so I can investigate that later. Yeah, I mean, it might be if you just use really good headphones, you might be able to hear it or something like that. Which obviously would be less than ideal. Actually going to tone down it slightly. Alright, reduce it by 0.6 decibels, which may or may not help. Regason, thank you for rating the host, I appreciate that. And welcome, I hope you are doing well. Thank you for the feedback, everybody. I do appreciate that. Alrighty, and welcome to World 2 proper. We can actually finally buy high potions, which, funny enough, is actually not that big of a deal if I remember to equip the flame ring so I could heal myself with fire too. But because I keep forgetting that apparently, it is kind of a big deal. Bum, 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 bum. It's everyone else's equipment failing. Yeah, that's kind of unlikely. That's why I like to kind of know about stuff. Oof. And here we actually get to see one of the bigger downsides of the low speed of a Black Mage. Random enemies at this point have enough speed to get an attack in before I can run away. Not all of them, and there's not necessarily anything dangerous specifically here, but this may become more and more an issue as we get later and later into the game. Alrighty. As a Black Mage, you finally get new spells here. You get Bio, Break, and maybe Drain sometime, but I don't have enough money right now. Bio is a your next level spell, so to speak, that deals poison element damage. And poison element is actually kind of an interesting type. Most of the time, enemies are neutral to it, unless they're undead, then they just absorb it as health instead. But there's only one particular enemy or boss that is noteworthy that is weak to poison. But yeah, it is actually a pretty powerful spell. The biggest downside of Bio is actually its sound effect. It sounds absolutely terrible. We will soon get the ability to buy a Venom staff, however, that also allows us to improve its damage output by a further 50%. So Bio is basically the spell, or the offensive attack spell that you get in between Fire 2, Lightning 2 and Ice 2 as well, and the level 3 spells of those. So it's basically just kind of the middle thing. However, one of the big deals about the other spell that I got is Break. Break means that we can now petrify enemies. And if you petrify an enemy in this game, they are just instantly dead. It's the same as instant death, effectively, for all intents and purposes. So if an enemy is susceptible to petrification, we can take advantage of that. And we may. I actually don't know whether there's any particularly noteworthy enemy that is susceptible to petrification left at this point. I think most of the enemies that we would have used Break on are gone by now. Well, I guess Twin Tanya works. You are deaf. Wow, that's mildly terrifying. Also, it looks like these Moogle Eaters have exactly the same speed as fairies, and 50% of the time they just go before we get to have our turn to run away. Unless we get a preemptive strike, which is up 2 in 16 chance, I think. I feel like I got corrected in the past saying that it was a 2 in 16 chance for a preemptive strike. That was actually wrong. You're not adorable. Oh. Okay. Alrighty. The next enemy here coming up... Actually, I wonder whether this guy is susceptible to electrification. So this is Tyrannosaurus. Tyrannosaurus is an interesting encounter. Let's see real quick. Tyrannosaurus, he is actually mal immune to petrification as well, so we can't use it. As well as he does have a weakness to fire, so even though... Does he have immunity? Maybe. Oh, he doesn't even absorb bio apparently. Either way, fire would be the way to go if you want to deal damage. He has 5000 HP, but he is not heavy, which means instant death attacks work to an extent. And what do we do with enemies that are not heavy and have a weakness to Phoenix Stones? We try to use Phoenix Stones and 75% of the time it's going to work. I say 75% of the time because I don't actually know what the probability of success is for you. Bring. I missed who that was. Oh, pregnant. Hello. Thank you. That's almost a year. 49 months. Sure. Why not? Regan, thank you so much for 49 months of support. That's a long time to say the least. Welcome back. I'm glad you enjoy your stay. I hope you're doing well. Hello. And welcome. I hope you all have a most pleasant day today. Till a friend showed you using potions on the bus. Ah, interesting. Hello, welcome to as well, Alexa. X-codes. Hello. Hello. Oh. I still love this little animation of the Moogle. There is so much character expression in this little Moogle's animations with basically no animation. It's great. And also welcome to you, Phenomenon. I hope you have a nice day. Hello. Is leveling on softened statues a thing in this game? Not necessarily leveling, but one of the common strategies if you want to grind a few ability points is actually grinding ability points on softened statues. So it's not really for levels as an experience, but you get ability points, which, well, I guess it's some form of leveling. Fitness mod doing pull-ups. The little moth dragon thingy. It's great. The Moogles look so fat being only 16 by 16 as opposed to Final Fantasy 6. I suppose that's accurate. Thank you. In this run, no, there's no such needs, I don't think. We're actually kind of far away from the last level anyways, but from the last Black Mage level anyways, but we also don't really need it per se. Need to write a letter to a friend for a book his girlfriend's put together and you don't know where to start. I have no idea either. Muggles, just like Kirby, are shaped like friend. Yep. Muggles are definitely the capybara of Final Fantasy universes. Except they can also be rather terrifying if they're angry. If Mog is anything to go by, or Kutan. Beastmaster was easy at the end of the level grind. Yeah, Beastmaster level grind was literally the easiest any character had it to gain basically endgame levels. Well, maybe not the easiest, but just... No, it was the easiest. There was not really anything else. Moogle just had a heart attack. Maybe. You always have a friend with you. That's nice. Well, you also have a tattoo of Tefka, so it balances out. That's mildly terrifying. Oh, actually, I just found an enemy where we can use petrification on. Best villain ever. Yeah, honestly my favorite fun fact is that the only reason why Kefka is the way he is because the translation team, or the English translation team, took some liberties. Let's see. Still 3 hours until I need to get ready for thingy.
Wait, he says. Do I look like a waiter?
That's kind of the voice of Kekka in my head anyways. He just kind of sounds rather shrill most of the time. You don't really like Kefka that much? That's fair too. It's a bit of a polarizing one, but I think I'm quite rather fascinated by it. And yes, petrified, pretty much. Pretty much. He's basically just rude in the Japanese original, from what I was told. I don't actually technically know. That's just hearsay. For me anyway, since I don't know enough Japanese to read. Well, I only know individual Japanese characters. That's the extent of my knowledge anyways. I'm grabbing the exit spell here because it allows me to exit out of places if I want to test something later. Has been useful a few times in the past, but for the solo character challenge in particular, I'm not gonna use it at all. Yeah. I feel like Kefka, as well as a few things in the Secret of Mana German translation, are actually pretty good examples of proper localization rather than just translations, so to speak. Because you kind of need to adjust translations for, like, well, the locality, because certain jokes and ideas just straight up don't work in other languages. Oop. Here's some dragoon food for Heria. Good RNG. Well, thank you for the 111 bits of food. I do appreciate us. Alrighty, welcome to the Abductor. So this fight here is actually not without risk, because he does have both Hurricane to put him into critical HP as well as Vampire to absorb HP based on his lost HP. But he's not immune to Break. So he was afraid and he was petrified. It's actually one of the more convenient things when we don't have to equip the elemental rods to boost our elemental damage. Because then, in that case, I can just equip the Guardian Dagger for the additional physical evasion. I broke it, oh no. Have a break. Have a Kit Kat. I want chocolate. Me. Suddenly, werewolves. Friendly werewolves. Not like the ones in the Secret of Mana. I'm actually wondering if I push Gilgamesh across Gilgamesh on the bridge, across the edge, in a way where he cannot counterattack, like with a monk counterattack, would he ever get to go into phase 2? Like in theory, he will start using his script in phase 2, but he might never... I'm actually really curious about the Monk solo challenge now. Kevin is friendly. Yep. Oh, not that Kevin. You love my theory crafting dreams? That's nice, because when I get distracted, I don't even know what I was talking about just 2 seconds ago. Like right now. But thank you. Alright, we should have some money now to buy Drain if I want to. That's not a spell for Drain. So, Drain is a spell where we absorb HP from the enemy and heal ourselves with. There's just one problem with this spell. It is not guaranteed to hit. And you know, when I need healing, I want to have a spell that hits guaranteed. So I'm probably never going to use it. At least I don't know where I would want to use it. Yeah. Solar Mime is going to be rough. Oh, yeah, it's gonna be a trickier one. Not as bad as Solar Thief though, but at the same time, it's gonna be a thing. Alrighty, we just acquired a Venom Rod. Venom Rod does the same thing as Ice Rod, Lightning Rod, and Fire Rod do, in the sense that they just increase the elemental damage of these rods. Or elemental damage of the corresponding element, in this case poison, by 50%. And that's pretty awesome. And I think they should get some physical defense equipment here, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see, the Tricorn Hat I think gives us additional magic evasion, as well as intelligence. I think it gives us actually 1 magic power. Yeah. Let's see. Tricorn Hat, yes. Tricorn Hat gives us 1 magic power, a little bit more physical defense. I don't know actually about, let me actually check this real quick. Plumed Hat has, I think, 5% magic evasion. If I'm not mistaken, yes, 5% magic evasion. A Tricorn Hat has also 5% magic evasion, so it's basically just a straight up upgrade. As is Gaia Gear. Slightly more defense, magic defense, and also magic evasion for that matter. So it's kind of neat. Now the interesting thing about Gaia Gear is if you have a spellcaster that can deal earth-based damage like a summoner, you actually deal 50% more damage with earth attacks, while having the Gaia Gear equipped. It's actually really neat. Also, I just realized I never even bought any high potions. I need to combine high potions. Also, I need to buy holy water. Otherwise, if one of my guys gets turned into a zombie, I can't undo the effect. When you want healing, you want guaranteed healing. Damage is secondary, indeed. I'm gonna just sell all the things that we don't need anymore at this point. Because we can't use it anyways. And that's mostly all sold. Alright. Revivify, or Holy Water, removes the zombie status effect, and there's certain enemies here that actually revive our allies into zombies. In this area here specifically, they are called Ridicule, and they are actually really speedy as enemies, which means if I get into an encounter with them, we will have a zombie that I need to remove from my party. Do they get experience if they are zombies? Yes, actually. So, we don't want to have zombies in our solo character challenge run for multiple reasons. For one, zombies, well, they steal experience, so that's kind of less than ideal. But for two, and in my opinion, more importantly, zombies never get knocked out by damage, and enemies will still target them as if they were regular characters. So while the zombies will attack our own allies with just regular physical attacks as if it was permanently confused as a character, enemies will just attack them and it would save me a tremendous amount of damage. Having zombies in my party would be very, very beneficial. So we of course can't have that. Not for a solo character anyways. Break. But these zombies dragons are actually quite interesting. They give pretty good experience, 1650, and they always guarantee to drop a Dragon Fang, which is 2,500 gold. I'm actually curious, what is the probability of break to hit anyways? 75% baseline. So it's like a Phoenix Stone. And yes, you can also use a Phoenix Stone on these zombie dragons. Actually, for once I want that cabin over here. Bone dragons are actually pretty terrifying. They are the reason why I have a Guardian Dagger equipped. Because what bone dragons can do, they have 3 moves. They have a physical attack, which is what we kind of want to see if we ever encounter them. They have a physical attack that stuns our character. That's really bad. And they have a move that puts our character into critical HP, so that's really, really bad. Also, the claw from these guys poisons us. No game over when the party is zombified? Yes, game over. For a solo character, if Fairies ever get zombied, it's game over. Same deal with her getting petrified. As the only character remaining, it is just you lose. The zombie is a great meat shield, just ask any necromancer. Right. Speaking of necromancer, we do have a rather unique and interesting armor coming up, named the Bone Mail here. The Bone Mail, unfortunately, as a black mage, you cannot equip. It is basically medium armor. And the Bone Mail is the highest defense in the entire game. It does come with benefits and drawbacks. It makes your character undead. We take healing, we take damage from healing spells and also double damage from fire. However, you only take half damage from ice abilities, as well as have a ridiculously high physical defense. On top of that, with the Bone Mail, you also are immune to aging status effect, poison, confusion, instant death, and you heal from spells like Doom. There's some others. You're also immune to blind. Basically, you're immune to most status effects at that point. But of course, the main downside of the Bone Mail is if you try to heal a character, you will damage them. Unless you heal them in a specific way, like equipping a Flame Ring, for example. Raising a family is hard. The Necromancer answers, not if they're very close together. Yep, Necromancers just want to raise their families, like any other person. I don't know why that's such a big deal. Let me guess, everything has fire skills later on. Not necessarily, actually. It really is just the biggest deal about Bone Mail is that you can't heal other characters by traditional means. That's really all there is. There is some strong fire spells that enemies throw at you later, but that's kind of mostly true always. Yes, you can use fire too on your own character, which is why I can heal myself via equipping the Flame Ring, which in fact is kind of coming up soon. Maybe, we'll see. I should have done that a few times in the past against bosses and such, but I forgot. Too bad you can't equip a Bone Mail on Black Mage. Yeah. Bone Mail on Black would be amazing. Using a tent here to recover my MP. Honestly, the bone mail has more benefits than drawbacks overall. It's a really, really good piece of equipment. But you need to handle the drawbacks properly, otherwise you may run into trouble. Good night. Those enemies must be so confused. Alrighty, welcome to the Heria Plant, or the Dragon Pot, or whatever you want to call this thing. So this is a pretty unique type of enemy. If you play this casually, it's more annoying than dangerous. But let me explain. The Heria Plant, all it does is it revives or, well, creates these little flowers. It has about 12,000 HP, and, well, Bio does pretty good damage. Also, by the way, Bio also inflicts HP leak status, so it's actually dealing a little bit more damage than what you initially see. Either way, the little flowers all have 100 HP each, exactly. Further, they use a very special kind of physical attack that is affected by row, as in, if I'm in the back row they only deal half damage, if they're in the back row they also deal half damage on top of that. Their baseline damage is 100. If I'm in the front row and get hit by one of the little flowers, it will deal exactly 100 damage to me. On top of that, the little flowers never miss, you cannot dodge their attack, so using an elf cape is mostly pointless. On top of that, each one of the little flowers has their own status effect associated with them. What this means is that from right to left, I think the status effects that they have is aging, poison, blind, paralyzation, and confusion. Especially paralyzation and confusion status effects are incredibly brutal if you get hit by them, so this is why I'm always multi-targeting all of them. Since they never miss, and I'm not immune to any of the status effects, this would be really bad to get hit by them. What I could do in theory is I could try to put the little flowers to sleep rather than kill them every time. That is entirely possible and reasonably doable. However, they have actually a surprising amount of magic evasion, which means my chance to hit with sleep isn't that good. I could still do it, but just casting Bio on all of them is much more reliable for the most part. Weird to see Bio work on plant-type enemies, I suppose. You love that sound. Yeah. I think the Bio sound on the Game Boy Advance version is actually worse. But yeah, get used to the Bio sound because you will hear it a bunch. Because that's kind of our strongest spell for a while here. By the way, Bio, to give you a frame of reference, has an attack power of 105, which is slightly more than double of Fire 2, Ice 2 and Bolt 2. And good night. Cost me most of my MP, but hey, no problems. No more photosynthesis. Yep. We basically just played Gardener with... What's the stuff you use in order to get rid of the wheat plants? It's not pesticide, that's against bugs. Oh well. Now we hope that we don't get surprise attacked by bone dragons on the way back, because they could kill me. Very MP to cost efficient. It is actually. 16 MP for that much damage is pretty good. Wheat Whacker? Sure. We've just played Wheat Whacker. Just with magic instead of anything else. Also, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use... Yeah, well, I'm just gonna use one of the cabins. Cabins recovers my MP back to full, and I'm too lazy to use 3 tents in a row here. Poisoning plants to get a vaccine for Heria. Right. Heria does not mind the poison, in fact it is immune to it. Actually, we literally learned that. That is canon in the game. Herias are immune to poison, or at least what we traditionally consider to be poisonous. weedy side is apparently a thing. I see. Interesting. Either way, we just break this guy. Or more specifically, we try to break this guy. We do have a chance to miss. And we gained some levels. Oh, we're actually level 33 now. I figured this was the Black Mage level, but no, it's 11 level. Hello. Goodbye. Fun fact, the Bone Dragon and Zombie Dragon in this encounter are different enemies than the ones you can get in other encounters. So as a matter of fact, you cannot instantly kill the Zombie Dragon here with Phoenix Down. I actually don't know whether it is affected by break or not though. But apparently they are just about the same speed as our Black Mage here. This one rolled a high on the initiative. 2 misses, come on Ferris. Well, at least she's dodging like a champion, so that's okay. Oh, 3 misses. Either we're getting unlucky now, or previously we've gotten rather lucky with hitting break every time. It's probably something in between. There we go. The 5th attempt was the successful one. I'm still using regular potions because we don't quite have enough money yet to stock up to the max on high potions. By the way, earlier we did also get a Dancing Dagger as a weapon. The Dancing Dagger is kind of unique in that half the time when you attack with it physically, it will try to execute a dance move, which is the same as the dancer class that you can have as a job. And dance can be confusing an enemy, so we actually now have means to confuse enemies if we really want to. It can be HP drain, which actually is the exact same spell as drain, except that it will always hit. Minus the chance to actually use it in the first place, whatever. It also has Psych, which we don't actually have access to yet as a Black Mage. Psych means that we absorb MP from enemies, also called Osmose in other iterations of the Final Fantasy series. And the last ability is Sword Dance, which deals 4 times damage with with a guaranteed hit. Also gives +1 agility and +1 magic power. It's a really good dagger overall, and in fact, a lot of other solo characters make good use of it. In fact, a lot of other solo characters are entirely reliant on its power to potentially dish out a lot of damage, because they have no other means to deal a lot of damage in a short time frame. Our Black Mage here is none of that. We have plenty of damage output, and the main use of it would be to confuse an enemy, if anything. And there actually are... there's at least one use for confusion that we will get eventually. Maybe 2. Wow, alright. Maybe now? Nope. Okay, we have gotten incredibly lucky walking across the overworld here, because very frequently you get into encounters with enemies called Reticules that turn your allies into zombies. And they are guaranteed faster than a Black Mage, so it's guaranteed a zombie or 2 per encounter. So... hey, none of that annoyance. That might be a first. Maybe, I don't remember. And hey, Berserk now. Thank you for the good luck. I can definitely use that. I hope you're doing well. Yes, we finally have 48 HP. The Black Mage is not even the worst character in terms of HP growth. That honor goes to a Dancer, who, fun fact, has to largely stay in the front row in order to effectively deal damage. So a Black Mage is relatively safe in the back row most of the time anyways. Unless like high damage spells come in. You're doing well, that's nice. You've been flying through Final Fantasy IV DS recently. Oh, interesting. I hope you liked it. I think, was it the DS version that had the simple 3D graphics? Because I heard that one is by some considered to be the best version. It does, I see. Nice. Lena, we cast bio so much on the plant, you probably really should not have eaten it. Like it's literally poison we are using. The tie between DS and PSP in your opinion. Interesting. I just realized, what is my strategy to get a reflect ring? Oh, actually, this is where I suppose rain comes into the equation. Or we could use a dancing dagger. Either way, welcome to the world, I suppose. This time I'm not going to accidentally forget to visit Guido. On a semi-random note, I'm still amazed on how quickly we managed to get past Archeo Avis, because I kind of expected that to be a major hurdle. Or, well, it was, I suppose. Just, I didn't expect to get lucky that quickly. Lena got poisoned by friendly fire from Ferris biospam. Yep, that sounds about right. And welcome to the ship. You know, I just realized I should go and buy potions first. Where am I on the world map anyways? I guess just south of here would be a potion shop. Because I might take a lot of damage in the barrier tower while trying to find the wall ring. Right, we also did pick up a helmet called the Coronet. And the Coronet actually sells for 37,500 gold. It's actually a unique item, and if you have a Beastmaster in your team, you do not want to sell it because it increases the chance for control to work. But for basically any other solo character, it's just a really nice amount of money. Welcome to Rai. Feel free to correct me on how to pronounce your name. I hope you have a nice day so far. I should have gone the right way around the mountains here, because now I go the other way. Okay, let's see. The next boss coming up after the cutscene here is going to be Gilgamesh on the boat. And Gilgamesh on the boat has 8,888 HP. And he also will call Enkidu once he drops below 6,000 HP, so after that amount of damage. Plus he will get healed for 4,000 HP at that point. So yeah, that's usually full HP at that point. But thanks to our new rather powerful damaging spell with Bio, we should be able to make quick work of him. Unfortunately, he is not susceptible to any status effect or, well, thing we have access to. Unless we had Doom already, which we don't. Doom would be actually a status effect that does work on Gilgamesh here, as well as his companion, Enkidu. Enkidu has 4,000 HP. He is not heavy, so in fact he is susceptible to a lot of status effects and such, thanks to being not heavy, but, well, no such luck for us in this case. So, well, we're just gonna go ahead and nuke them down. That's the plan. So overall, Gilgamesh as an enemy, he's not too terribly dangerous in terms of dealing damage. The dangerous part about Gilgamesh is that he likes to use an ability called the Death Claw. Death Claw, well, it does exactly what you expect it to, I suppose. It puts you to critical HP, and it paralyzes you, which means if we take any damage after he manages to land a Death Claw ability, we die. Nice thing is, Death Claw is not particularly accurate, but I would still guess it's like a coin flip whether we get hit or not. Well, actually, we should have slightly better chance than a 50% chance to resist it. Either way, he can only use Death Claw 1 in 3 chance every 4th turn, so on the 4th turn, on the 8th turn, etc. However, we should only need to dodge like 1 or 2 Death Claws in order for that to, well, work out in the end. Alright, also these little guys, Gobbledygooks. We have like 1,500 HP? I don't remember. Either way, they are not exactly much of a concern. They will die rather quick. We can use either Break or we can use Bio. Either one is fine. Oh, oh yeah, he has more HP than that, I suppose. Because I didn't equip the Venom Rod. Good job. And yes, Gilgamesh is susceptible to death status effect, which we don't have yet. Gonna take a while until we get it. Actually, where do we get it? I don't remember. Okay, but yeah, physical evasion, he is pretty fast, like he's even faster than the previous fight with a speed of 45, which means he goes well before we get one turn. So starting off with the Guardian Dagger for additional physical block chance is the way to go. Where is my Venom Rod? There is, don't put it that far down in the menu, that's silly. Alright, Venom Rod for increased bio damage. 1760, that's really good actually. Mist Missile would deal 75% of our current health and damage, about 750 basically. So here, she's actually going to call for Enkidu right away. That's actually kind of impressive, because that's only 2 spell casts. Either way, I'm considering just nuking down Gilgamesh first, and ignoring Enkidu for now. You can only really do that if you deal enough damage to defeat Gilgamesh before Enkidu heals him again. Because I think every 5th turn, or maybe 6th turn, he uses White Wind. I'm just kind of contemplating which one is more dangerous. Enkidu, I think overall is more dangerous. Also, he can slow us, so we go after Enkidu first. Yeah, he has 4000 HP. He knows Arrow 2. Next turn he can use Vampire. If Enkidu hits Vampire on us, we are dead. Because Vampire deals damage equal to half of your currently missing HP. So, well, that would be 1700 now. Haha, no, come on, that's rude. Precisely what I just mentioned. But yeah, we just hope that doesn't happen. Vampire actually has even a lower chance of hitting than Deathclaw, I think. Also, fun fact, the Game Boy Advance version of this game, Vampire doesn't just deal half the damage or of the HP you're missing, it deals the full HP you're missing in damage and heals you for the same. So it would have dealt like 3,500 damage in this case. Either way, he only has a 1 in 3 chance to use it. So I'm just gonna try again until he's knocked out, because we only need 3 spells until he's gone. 3? Yeah, 3. I also can equip the Guardian Dagger for the 3rd spellcast of Bio, because it should still be enough to knock out Enkidu. Alternatively, I could actually attack Gilgamesh until Enkidu's 2nd turn is gone. Oh, well, never mind. That's not a good idea. Because on his 4th turn, Enkidu also can use Vampire. And if he doesn't use Vampire on the 4th turn, he has another chance to slow us. And as I've mentioned before, slow and haste are the most powerful status effects in the game that, well, don't outright kill you anyways. So we really don't want to get slowed. Slow is literally also the reason why I go after Enkidu first. So yeah. Let's just hope we get a little bit luckier this time. That would be nice. Hello. Preemptive strike. Nice. He's going to get the satisfaction of having knocked out 3 of the heroes. But, well, wow. That's just in his dreams anyways. Alright, Bio knocks him out. Oh wow, he's actually slightly faster than me. Okay, fair enough. For how easy they are to defeat, they actually give surprisingly good experience too. Starting with a Guardian Dagger again, kinda like before. first. By the way, it's about 1,800 damage total-ish. Because it also deals HP leak damage, as mentioned before. So actually I could do a half measure. What I could do is I could use my first spell on Enkidu. I could cast it with a Guardian Dagger. Because as I said, I need one with a fire here. But this is only going to deal 550 damage to me in his second turn. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to briefly wait until Enkidu's turn is up. And then we are gonna bio him, so his vampire would not deal as much damage. Case in point, I survived it. But we need to defeat Enkidu now, otherwise he has another chance for a vampire right here. Okay, that was a better strategy. The downside, of course, is that we waste a little bit of time on trying to deal with Gilgamesh here. Should I heal? You know, not really. Unless he specifically uses Deathclaw. He's not dangerous, per se. But Deathclaw could just kill us. So I'd rather just nuke him for now. We need 5 spell casts. I actually need to heal anyways. At some point he would deal enough damage to knock me down. That's spellcast number 3. 2 more should in theory do the trick. Alright, he has one more chance. Okay, I think we win. Probably. It's actually going to be really tight on damage, depending on how much damage HP sap is. Okay, we got it. Second try. That's quite alright. Can you kill Gilgamesh before he summons Enkidu? Yes, you can, in theory. He summons Enkidu in his turn once he is below a certain threshold of HP. You know, I would use tents in order to heal up my MP, but I can instead just go and use the facility here. Yes, you can actually instant kill Enkidu. Like, for example, you can capture an enemy with that casts instant death as a Beastmaster and then release it here and just instantly win. And he still has the same dialogue in case you're curious. Basically, that specific dialogue triggers when you defeat Gilgamesh while Enkidu is not there, regardless of whether he summoned Enkidu beforehand or not. Do you get less experience? You don't actually get any experience from bosses at all. Well, actually, there's one exception for a mini-boss, I think. But generally speaking, you don't get experience from bosses. No, you get the same amount of money as well as ability points, regardless of how you defeat the enemies. There's no penalty, so to speak, in this game. Oh hey, this is exactly the enemy I'm looking for here, actually. So this is a wall knight. He has a 1 in 16 chance to drop me a wall ring, which is actually pretty much precisely what I'm looking for. So basically, what I would like to have happen here is I would like to defeat this thing. However, as the name may imply, it has wall status permanently. Wall means it bounces back spells, except Rain. Rain does not actually get reflected. However, it has a chance to hit. Plus, this guy has quite a substantial amount of physical defense, so what I can do in theory here is I can use a Dancing Dagger and just hope for good dancing moves. Or just deal no damage at all, basically. So yeah. Also, this is recovering MP mystery waltz, so I'll actually get a good amount of MP back if I try to do this, so it's not too bad. Tempting Tango does confuse this guy, so he can hit himself physically, or he could actually also cast Reflect on me, which would be kind of desirable actually, because then... Nice. What I can do is, if both characters have wall, it does not keep... spells do not keep bouncing back and forth. What happens instead is, what I can do now is I can cast the spell on myself and then bounce it over to him in order to hit him and subsequently one-shot him. So basically confusing him and him casting a wall on himself is kind of best case scenario, I suppose, with the Dancing Dagger. But, well, I would like to have a wall ring, specifically in order to deal with the final boss of the world. Actually, Black Mage might be one of the few characters that prefers running with a flame ring instead. Huh. I need to consider that. I'm just still going to get a wall ring, in case my theory does not work out. It's going to take a while. As I said, we could just use... Also, all enemies are straight up faster than Ferris here. We could just use Drain in order to bypass the wall effect entirely. But... yeah. Just on the left is... contains a Drain Sword. A sword that can only be equipped by knights, specifically. Which is rather unfortunate because it's kind of an interesting weapon. It's not a good weapon, but it's interesting. Wonder if you can break these guys. Oh, you can. Interesting. So this would be a good fight to fight if you have a good means of defeating all of the enemies quickly. But unfortunately we don't really. Like, we can technically defeat them, and if I just get wall once, I would just kind of nuke the rest of them. But yeah. Either way, I actually want to climb the tower before I grind for the wall ring. Because up the tower there's going to be a very special piece of headgear equipment that I can acquire. Also, there's a lot of money in these chests, which we kind of want to have for the next town, so it's kind of convenient. It's such a mean combination. The Magnetis will always use Magnet in order to pull you into the front row. You can resist it, but it's just like you get pulled to the front row and then the enemies attack you with physical attacks. There's not really anything you can do about that. Most of the time. Not in this case anyways. So the door on the left is where I can get the gold hairpin at Gear Equipment that I was talking about. But before I go there, I'm gonna go over here and save, because it is actually possible to get a rare encounter in that chest, and that would be 2 yellow dragons. 2 yellow dragons are one of the most dangerous encounters you can imagine, because yellow dragons have a good amount of HP, I think it's like 7,000, but on top of that they use lightning, which is deals 25% of your maximum health damage. So that means to your entire party, which means if they get 2 turns, they could use up to 4 lightnings, and you might just be straight up dead, your entire party, because 100% damage. Oh. It is relatively rare to get them though. Now, I actually don't know what kind of elemental or weakness they have, so let's see. Yellow dragons, 8500 HP. They are immune to sleep and petrification. Can you toad them? Yep, they are immune to toad as well. Boring. You can't not poison them either. They have an elemental absorber of lightning, as you might expect. Yeah, there's actually not really a good way to deal with these guys. Huh. Aside from just trying to nuke them. But I think what I'm gonna do is I'm going to equip the Guardian Dagger and drain and just try to run away instead. You can run away from chest encounters. Yeah. As I said, it is pretty rare to actually encounter them. In my first casual playthrough, I actually thought this was the encounter you get in this chest regardless of what else you do. Because I did get those in my very first time playing through the game. There's the thunders. Yeah, for 1 in 3 chance to use thunder every turn. I did not mean to use bio, I wanted to heal. Oh well. Ow! They hit pretty hard too. Well. This is why we went to save. The alternative of what we can encounter in there is actually a red dragon. Red dragons are interesting because they are both undead and fire. Kind of an unusual combination. But either way, this is why we equipped the flame ring. Did I equip the flame ring in my previous attempt? I hope I did, because that would be silly if I didn't. Either way, you can actually throw... Wow, really? I'm surprised. To be fair, I don't actually know how rare this encounter is. Hey, we actually managed to run away. That is rare. Running away from this encounter is indeed very, very rare. Let's see what we get this time. Wow, the same thing again? I don't know what the probability of this is, but I know it's very uncommon. So... I guess it's not like a rare encounter in this case. Probably anyways. it's most likely more like an uncommon encounter. If I were to guess, like maybe a 1 in 8, maybe 1 in 4? Ow. Did they get a double turn here? Not yet. I think the bottom rank actually gets a double turn now. Because they're slightly faster than Ferris. So the bottom rank should be able to move again before I get my turn. Probably. I'm gonna briefly wait. Oh, or not, I'm gonna run away instead. Okay, let's open the chest from the other side. Doesn't do anything, it's the exact same chance. In case you're curious. Alrighty, finally! Hey, there's a red dragon! As mentioned before, he is fire and undead. So Bio actually heals him, I think anyways. Don't think you can break him. But I know Ice is going to deal a lot of damage to it. He does have like 7,500 HP. It's actually a lot easier of an encounter. It likes to use Atomic Ray on your entire party, so that's kind of mildly dangerous. But because I have the Flame Ring equipped, it's not that big of a deal. Plus it's only one enemy at a time, so much easier. I would like for you to use Atomic Ray sometime. I would really appreciate that. Wow. You make me want to heal instead. But at the same time, I think you're dead? Yeah, you're dead. Okay. There's our gold hairpin. Gold hairpin has kind of terrible stats overall, but now our spells only cost half as much as they did before. Instead of Bio costing 16 MP, it is 8. It is actually a pretty huge upgrade. It's kind of crazy. So now we're going to go ahead and hunt for the Wall Knights. I'm just gonna use a Dancing Dagger and hope to absorb some MP from them sometime. That way I don't have to necessarily use tents here. One of the few times where I actually seeing Mystery Waltz from the Dancing Dagger is actually useful. Because most of the time Mystery Waltz is just nothing, because you neither run enemies out of MP, nor do you necessarily need to MP yourself. Paralysis is getting really good with blocking with that dagger. It's only a 1 in 4 chance, but hey, if it happens, it happens. So I think this is one of the places where the single Wall Knight is a common encounter. So that means 90 out of 256 chance. We could technically take on this encounter too with the Magnetics and the Traveler. But the Traveler can use Time Slip on our character, which puts us to sleep and aging status. Well, I suppose in theory what I can do is I can use the Venom Rod to maybe one-shot it. Okay, I can one-shot the Traveler, so it's not too bad. But of course I get pulled into the front row here. Trickers, you remember them from Final Fantasy IV, like they scan themselves for lightning weakness. You strike them, then they speed up and want to wreak havoc. What? I actually don't know that one. That sounds interesting, also kind of mean. Alright, the Dancing Dagger. Mystery Waltz, nice, I actually get MP from that. Paralysis is dodging like a champion. Okay, cast Wall on yourself, please. Perfect. And so we just knock you out. Hey, if enemies were so cooperative, that would be amazing. In a random room on the moon, they use Goblin Palette. Weird. Hey! Oh, wow! Okay. I think that's only the third wall night and we already have the wall ring. That's really lucky, actually. Final Fantasy 4 is full of weird stuff like that. Yaga luck indeed. That's very lucky. I'm usually lucky, I dare to say. But I'm actually not sure whether that's true. But hey, it's nice to recognize when you're lucky. Because it kind of counterbalances the times when you just feel like you're getting significantly unlucky. Alrighty, I'm gonna go ahead and use a cabin to heal my MP to full. So, before we go into encounter, of course we need to... Wow! We rolled a 0. We need to knock out our allies again. Oh, thank you, that helps. Alrighty, welcome to one of the biggest hurdles for a lot of the solo characters, or even actually just casual playthroughs. Welcome to Atmos. Atmos has 20,000 HP. Technically 3 less than that, but who's counting? Either way, Atmos, what he does is, he has one of two modes. Mode 1 is when none of your characters in the party are dead on the floor. He will cast Comet. Every turn has a chance to cast 2 comets. And he is about 3 times as fast as you are, because he both has innate haste as well as just really high speed in the first place. So basically, he goes really fast. Gets a lot of turns. So he will basically just bombard you with comets and probably kill some of your characters very quickly. Once one of your characters is dead on the floor, he will start pulling them towards its open mouth. Once it manages to pull your characters all the way to the mouth, it will just absorb them, removing them from combat effectively. However, it has one very fatal flaw. You can put it to sleep. That's it. One in 4096. Hey, that's the same chance as a shiny in one of the early generations of Pokemon. But yeah, enemies that are asleep, as long as you don't attack them with a regular physical attack, they don't wake up. That's just gonna be the same song for actually a few more bosses coming up for the Black Mage. Not terribly exciting or interesting, but being able to knock this thing out this easily is actually quite pleasant, considering how much danger it poses for so many other characters. Alrighty. So, as a heads up, it's about 2-ish hours from now where my Zelda Link to the Puzzle randomizer race is going to be. I actually haven't eaten anything yet today. I probably should do that. So I think this is probably a decent stopping point. We will soon get level 3 fire, ice and lightning spells, basically making Bio mostly obsolete with one exception. Because those spells are gonna just be insanely powerful, just nuking all enemies. And I will need to try and figure out what goal level I want to have in order to tackle X-Death, and whether I want to try and use the Flame Ring or the Wall Ring. Because the Black Mage is kind of in a unique position where both may be equally valid, especially Flame Ring we can save on elixirs by just using them instead, or, well, alternatively, do the traditional Wall Ring strategy. Not sure, we'll see. Twitch timer says 3:12? That's my current uptime. But I have to randomize the race in 2 hours, so I want to basically practice a little bit for that, just kind of get my hands warm for Zelda Link to the Past. As well as, well, food. Food is important. They really toned it down for Final Fantasy V. The only thing you'd want to grind out, that is Dragon Lances. Yeah, Dragon Lance is really good. Maybe the Dragon Whisker if you have a Beastmaster in your team. Probably the shields from Gilgamesh in certain encounters. But at least it's mostly not rare steals. Mostly. The explosions are quite loud compared to other audio. Yeah, there's unfortunately not a whole lot I can do about that. That's not true, I could actually add an audio compressor. But I don't know really how much that would affect things. But yeah, that's actually one of the unfortunate sound effects of this game here, where the explosion as well as the meteorite falling down are just weirdly loud, and I don't know why. Alrighty everybody, so that is the solo character challenge run with the Black Mage for now. We have pretty much smooth sailing for a while, I think. We will have to grind a bit before tackling X-Death at the end of World 2. Haven't figured out how much yet, but, well, we'll get to that. So everybody, thank you so much for watching, for listening and for lurking. I hope you enjoyed your stay, and hopefully until next time, take care and have a good day.